Are we on? Are we on? Welcome, welcome, welcome to Basketball Heads Live. I am your host, Glenn Pooh Harding. And tonight is the first installment of stories about my life involving me in sports. Tonight, I'll be kicking off with a true story about my summer playing for the Mafia. Yes, the M.O.B. Mafia. Sit back, get your popcorn, get relaxed, and enjoy the show.
Y'all ready? Y'all ready? Yes. You have just now into the world of chaos. Where everybody goes hard. Come on. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Or go home. Never back down. You gotta hold your own. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. East Coast. Go hard. West Coast. Go hard. Midwest. Go hard. Dirty. Hurry up, everybody. Get online. Buy your tickets cause the game about to start.
What's happening? What's happening? What's happening, world? Listen, tonight I'm going to give you a brief look into some of the things I experienced as a youngster growing up playing New York City basketball. I'm fortunate to be a part of some very historical moments. Either I was a part of it, I've seen it happen, I was in very close proximity to where it all went down. So sit back, like I said, and enjoy the show because I had to write this out. I didn't want to freestyle it tonight. So I just need y'all to stay with me and kind of soak up this energy I'm about to dish out to the world. I briefly talked about some of these topics in some of my shows, but tonight is going to be the first installment, and I think every week, all the way up till I drop the next trailer for my documentary, produced by 3 Cinema Media. Salute to my guy AB Money, DJ FX, and Chandler for approaching me with this idea. So, without further ado, let's get to this amazing story. For those of you that's on YouTube right now, if it's your first time, make sure you subscribe. Share this live right now. Share it to some friends, some family members, some basketball heads. Let them know. We live, talking that real. For those of you on Instagram, come over to YouTube. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Hit those like buttons. It costs you nothing. All right? So, let's start the story. As long as I can remember, I love playing sports like baseball, football, and basketball. I didn't realize the process of playing all 3 sports would teach me so much about working well with others. Plus, make some lifetime connections that I still have to this day. But it wasn't until I started playing basketball that my life took off like a rocket. After making my high school varsity basketball team as a freshman, which up to that point were a very small group of kids that was able to do so, meaning my coach picked 3 freshmen that year. And I think before that, He only picked one other, and that was Sean Williams, to my knowledge. Some others may have came before me, but to my knowledge, we was the next group of freshmen that my coach would put down. I really played my first year, but when I got my chance, I scored in every game. So my future looked bright. As a matter of fact, I grew from a 5'8" freshman to a 6'4" sophomore in one summer. My first news article mentioned that as a result of my growth spurt, I will be moving into the starting position as shooting guard. So you already know I was very excited. That year was a breakout year for me because I hit the winning shot against the number one team in the state to knock them out of the playoffs. And that team was George Westinghouse, who had the number one player in the state by the name of Gerald Green, who wound up going to Seton Hall and getting to the NCAA championship. So salute to my brother, G. Green. It wasn't until my junior year where we would do the impossible and win our school's second city championship since 1947. This really put me on the map, and I was a hot commodity on the hoop circuit. The summer came around, so as usual, I played AAU for the Madison Square Broncos, invited to BC and five-star basketball camps, played the Empire State Games, and also played in my neighborhood tournament, the Brevoort Coliseum. Played for the Running Rebels in Queens with my guy Rebel. Salute to you, Rebel. And a slew of other coaches that would pay me in sneakers, sweatsuits, and pocket cash to get me through a few rough patches during that summer. At the time, I was introduced to two public school educators who shall remain nameless because these gentlemen did all right by me. And I don't want to smear their names or legacy. Let's just say we were a traveling all-star team that would go around the state of New York playing against a host of ball players. We would play in Rockville Center in Long Island, all through the city, all the way up to Saratoga Springs. We also played in charity games in some prison facilities and everywhere in between. We could showcase our talent as ball players. We were well taken care of and ate at some of New York's best restaurants. I was amazed at some of the places we were able to eat because everywhere we went, there were lines. But we never had to wait for any tables. Just imagine two white guys with a bunch of black kids, all sweaty with bags and uniforms on their shoulders, going to eat at five-star restaurants. It was incredible. The waiters would grab extra tables and create space for a bunch of teenagers. Like you had to be there to understand what I'm saying. If you could just imagine the movie Goodfellas, which I'm going to talk about later on, you will see guys bringing tables and creating space for us. Still to this day, that haven't been done for me, and I still remember it like it was yesterday. Now, in order for us to travel and eat at the best restaurants, a lot of money had to be exchanged or special favors were given. Get it? Who knows? It took a while before I actually knew who was paying for everything because up to that point, I thought it was the two coaches. Finally got a chance to meet the money guy, as we called him in the city. I met him up at Saratoga Springs Racetrack. Now I know what you're saying. What are teenagers doing up at the Saratoga Springs Racetrack? Well, we would frequent this track because our coaches and the money guy, as we call him, were very heavy on the horse betting side of things. As a youngster, I was always inquisitive about things that I didn't understand. For instance, my mom take me to church when I was young, and I seen, you know, the plate being passed around and people put money inside the plate for ties. I would always ask my mother, we already got him for free. Why are we paying? I just thought that was like the biggest scam. I couldn't understand it because we already got him for free. Now we pay? How do we know if we paid or not? So all of these questions I would have, and my mother would just pinch me or tell me to shut up and tell me this is what we have to do for the Most High. So I just went along. But for the life of me, I've only seen horse races on television. So I really didn't understand the betting process or why people put bets on horses or sports in the first place. Remember, I'm 16 years old at this time. One of the guys asked me to place a bet for them. Gave me $100 bill. I said, is this for the bet? He said, no, that's for you. And he handed me $5,000 in cash. At that point, that was the most money I ever held in my hand at one time. Man, I said to myself, these guys must be really, really, really rich. But I didn't understand. They were just educators working on a salary. Where did they get this extra money from? So I just said to myself, well, beats having a summer job. The one question I would ask myself is, are we supposed to be doing this? And is this legal? But when I went to the window to place the bet, no one said anything. So I never thought about it again. I would ask the coach, why do you guys bet? And the answer would simply be because the more money put on the horse racing event, the more control they had of the outcome of the race. I still didn't understand. So the coach said, listen, kid, all sports at the highest level are rigged in one way or another. This blew my mind, but I was young, so I didn't fully understand what he was implying. At this point, he got tired of me asking questions, so he just started pointing out all the multimillionaires who were sitting in our area. He said, you see that guy right there? He could buy 3 NBA teams. See that guy right there? He could buy the whole NFL and an NBA. What? I didn't even know how much an NBA team or NFL team cost back then. I really don't know now. I know it's in the hundreds of millions, but back then, we would sit next to some people that can do just that. He called these guys whales. Again, I was thrown off because I know whales are in the water. They're mammals. He's a man, which is a mammal, but he's not a whale. I didn't get it. Remember, I'm still young. So, for you basketball heads out there, a whale is a term used to describe a bettor who places a large wager on sports. This was still unbelievable to me because I was a huge sports fan. For example, let's look at the word fan, which is short for the word fanatic. So it will be hard for me to see the truth because a fan is a person filled with excessive and single-minded zeal, especially for an extreme sports, religious, or political cause, or as we call them, sports fanatics. So it all started to make sense and all started to come together. But I still wasn't really sure what was going on because at that point, I was just living in the moment. It wasn't until I was in prep school watching ESPN up in Pittsfield, Maine at MCI, prep school at my coach's house. They did an expose on the University of Nevada, Las Vegas, UNLV for short, and it all became clear. One of New York City's greatest players was shot, and the money guy was mentioned as the sponsor of this great player. I jumped out of my seat and screamed the money guy's name. I told my coach and my fellow teammates, I used to play for that guy's team during the summer. You have to understand, this player and myself were in the same grade up until my junior year. So we were freshmen together, sophomores together, and juniors together. Because who we was running with, this player was able to have someone allegedly take his GED so he could graduate early and enter junior college and become eligible to play Division I basketball while I was still a senior in prep school. Now, I know y'all hearing I went to prep school, but I went to prep school in my senior year. It wasn't my prep year. UNLV would take a hit, but no violations. The player never got a chance to play college ball. But after a few years of playing ball overseas, this ball player finally made it to the NBA and made a name for himself on a professional level. Years later, I would find out that money guy was allegedly associated with the Gambino crime family. What? Yes, the Gambino crime family. And they also mentioned him in the beginning of the classic movie Goodfellas as someone who was fixing college games during the 70s. So, let me give you a little idea what I'm talking about.
At Boston College. You had these wholesome kids. You had the mob. You had payoffs. No wonder it became Goodfellas.
You guys are going to fix these games or shave the points? I'm not going to do it. It's wrong.
It's hard to play basketball with a broken arm.
It all started in 1978 when Boston College was becoming a contender in the East under second-year coach Tom Davis. Nobody suspected anything about any of the players, and especially not Ernie Cobb, the team captain and top scorer. The other captain was junior Mr. Goodboy Jim Sweeney. The third player involved was a failed minor league baseball player, Rick Kuhn. He was the 6'6", built like a football player, not so good boy. Opposites attract on this team as Rick Kuhn and Jim Sweeney built a strong friendship. At the same time, a few hundred miles from Boston, In Lewisburg Penitentiary, Henry Hill and Paul Mazie met each other to do some drug dealing when they got out of prison. Paul brought up the idea that there was a chance to make a lot of money regarding Boston College. The person who made the arrangements to fix games was Rick Kuhn. Mazie and Kuhn were connected by two guys in Pittsburgh, Rocco and Tony Perla. They thought they could make money based on the outcomes of college basketball games. This is how it worked. People don't bet on teams to win necessarily, but to how many points they win by. That is known as the spread. So the gamblers bet on the games when Boston College is favored, and bet on the opposing team, and would pay the Boston College players to keep the score under the spread. So BC didn't necessarily have to lose the game for the gamblers to walk away with a profit. This is called point shaving. But for this to work, they needed more than Kuhn involved to throw the games. Kuhn arranged for
All right, I'm not going to get into a whole story, but y'all get what I'm saying. Some big time gambling going on back then. Mind you, like I said, not here to throw anybody under the bus. I'm not mentioning any names. You're going to have to do your own research and find out who I'm talking about. But let's get back to the story. Now, during this time, we would play charity games. Remember those jails and prison facilities I mentioned? Well, while we would go and play in these games and play against the prisoners that was housed there, he would allegedly meet with mob bosses while we served as a distraction for the correction officers. And anybody that was in charge that day, the warden. Mind you, I found all of this stuff out the older I got and the more my eyes started to open up. All I can say to myself is, wow, we never knew what was going on because we were so blind as youngsters living our best life. Side note, I'm giving you the short version. As a matter of fact, the whole experience was one for the record books. And maybe one day I'll tell y'all who the starring cast was and the impact it had on me as far as the way I look at sports as a grown man. In short, I truly believe all sports are rigged to a certain extent. What up, Cal? Yo, check your email, Cal. I sent you the link. Listen, I'm not part of Omerta, man. I didn't prick my finger. I didn't join the mob, man. Nah, not at all. I was a kid that was exposed to a lot of things going on, and like any other kid, I was going along for the ride. I wasn't taken advantage of. I wasn't abused. They didn't lie to me or cheat for me. They didn't ask me to cheat for them. They never asked me to throw a game. And I just felt honored to be a part of that. It was a win-win. They was using me for my talents and, making sure I didn't go hungry during the summer. Time was rough during the 80s, man. It's crack era. A lot of things going on. I wasn't in the streets like that. And the money didn't come easy. From the time I was 16 years old, all the way up to about 24, 25 years old, I've never paid for a pair of sneakers. Still to this day, I'm fortunate to have some great friends that throw me some sneakers every now and again, or sometime a sneaker company hooks me up. So I've been very blessed. I was just amazed when I became an adult and I would go into the sneaker store and see how much money people was paying for sneakers. I was blown away. One day, I'll tell you a story about how my college coach, Tom Green, gave me a lot of game. Matter of fact, I think I'm gonna invite him on one day. And we'll talk about that day that he showed me and told me the game of college basketball, which a lot of people are not privy to. Some people know, some people don't know. And the more I talk to people, I find out people have no idea what's happening behind the scenes. And that's one thing I could say about my coach. He gave me game on that end, on the business side. And I was hearing it from my prep school coach, Coach Paul Pellicani, one of the greatest prep school coaches in the nation. He told me about the business side of basketball. And I appreciate them for that. Before I start, hey, what's up? Okay, finally made it. What's up, Brenda? What's going on? Appreciate you joining us. CK, what's going on? Neil, what's happening? Ayatollah Beats, my guy. Omar Lee in the building. Said, big bro, got that money from the mall. Those are the good old days. You know that, oh, you know how that go. For sure. Yo, Cal, if you want to join, man, I'm here. I sent you the link if you want to come on. I've live, my brother, for sure. Yeah, man. This is real deal right here, man. This is real deal. Who else? What up, all black? Said all things they ask you to take the package to Bensonhurst and don't ask no questions. Yo, this is crazy, yo. Oh yeah, rest in peace, Coach Bobby Knight. Definitely one of the greatest coaches in college basketball history. Salute to the great one, Bobby Knight. You know what? I think I could tell y'all. I could tell y'all about that that sneaker story. Okay, I'm a sophomore at FDU. I think I'm a sophomore. My coach is not having a good day. He's actually very upset at us because we were in 15 games straight that we've lost or won by 1 or 3 points. So we've lost the game by 1, we've won it by 3, or lost with a last second shot. It was just a lot of ups and downs because we were young. We had a lot of young guys on the team. So my coach was going around picking out players to get on. And I guess he was trying to motivate us, but I felt like that was the wrong way to motivate us if you was just trying to tear us down, even though we was a young group. And I knew sooner or later it was going to be Pooh's turn. So before he could bust his guns at me, I bust my gun first. So I said, hold up, coach, like I do with the whistle. Relax, coach. Easy, fam. Fall back. What you doing? My coach was actually getting on everyone from our leading scorer, Desi Wilson, to our top assist guy and second leading scorer, Mel Hawkins. And then he went to a couple of bench players. I don't know if he was saving me for last, but I know he was coming to me next. And there was a lot of derogatory words that was thrown around, and him being the savior and saving us and giving us opportunity to play college basketball, telling guys he only had one scholarship left, so he gave it to him because he didn't want to leave the kid in the neighborhood to be succumb to the elements in the environment. And I know I was one of those guys who was part of that environment and saw those elements. So before he could get the pool, I said, hold on, coach. What make you think that what you're saying to us now is going to motivate us to win? The front of the media guide, I think they called us the Young Guns. Yeah, I think that was the title of all of us that was on the front of the media guide. It was all the young guys, and they called us the Young Guns. So you expect us to get it right? Our first time out, we're building towards something. My coach wasn't hearing any of that because he didn't like anyone talking back or anyone challenging him. So he said, Harding, hit the showers. I'm a leader by nature. So I said, if I go, we all going. And I looked at the players. They looked at me. We all threw off our jerseys, our practice jerseys, and we all stormed to the locker room. F that. We not practicing. We all leaving. My coach was very surprised by that because that never happened before, at least to my knowledge. I was surprised because I thought I was going to lose my scholarship. I didn't know about the rules of the game at that time. Nobody had put me on. I was like, I have to stand up and say something. I felt it in my spirit to say something. So I went with it. The next day, all you heard was all the players saying, yo, coach looking for you. Yo, Glenn, coach looking for you. Yo, Glenn, coach looking for you. Get a knock at my door. Be at coach's office. He want to meet with you. So where I lived at on campus, it's a half-hour walk to the gym. And I took my sweet old time thinking about, what is this man going to say to me? What am I going to say when he asks me why did I do that? So I'm preparing myself before I even get to his office. Get in this office, sit in the chair, sits back, says, Harding, sit down. I'm already sitting down. He said, Harding, what make you think that you're the leader of this team? I said, Coach, I never said I was the leader, but I'm a voice, and I think I'm one of the leaders on the team. I didn't want to seem like the big bad guy, right? Just saying, yeah, I am the leader. Even though my name was the ringleader on campus. Salute to all my crew who know what I'm talking about. He said, I was chewing you guys out because I wanted one of you guys to step up and say something. And you were the only one that said something. I got to blow a tech on myself. Say word. This was all a test. Here I am thinking he's meaning every word he says, but he's saying something to get some kind of emotion out of us. Whoa. It's a good trick, coach. And it worked because I was the guy who stood up and said something. My coach then told me, he said, from this point on, you're the captain. You're our leader. I see the guys listening to you and they'll follow your lead. Just understand, with great power comes great responsibility. So I was captain for the next 3 years. So me and my coach started chopping it up some more. And he told me, he said, I'm going to do one more thing for you. We just got a new contract for Converses. Go downstairs and tell the equipment guy, who named was George, rest in peace, George. Go get like 3 pair of sneakers for yourself, a couple of sweatsuits. Mind you, this is some stuff I get for free anyway, but who knows? It's still a mind game, so I'm with it. I buy into it now that I'm grown and understand. It's like, word? He's like, yeah. He was like, look, invoice sheet for it. It was like a stack of papers like that, so all the things they were giving us for free. But I noticed he started pointing to the price point. And at that time, I think it was $2.25 or $2.50 for each pair of sneakers. But there was no balance because at the end it was 000 because we were sponsored by them. But they still had the price point for how much each sneaker cost, or how much each sneaker cost, or what it costs to make each sneaker. Okay, so let's get that straight, right? These sneakers are coming directly from the company. And I guess it came straight from the factory to the company and they shipped it to us. Whatever the price point was, it was to create the sneaker that was still left on the sheet. So in my mind, I'm like, wow, sneakers are very cheap. I never had a pair of $100 sneakers. Matter of fact, that didn't exist back then. Maybe a Nike, but it wasn't that much. It wasn't like how it is today. So from that point on, I just figured sneakers really didn't cost that much. It wasn't until I graduated, started working in the real world, and you get your first couple of checks and you want to buy you something nice, you go to the, whatever it was, Modell's or downtown Brooklyn, or to the mall to buy a pair of sneakers. Mind you, I haven't been in a sneaker store to buy me a pair of sneakers since I worked a summer job when I was like 14, 15. I walked in the store and I couldn't believe the price point on the sneakers. I was like $100, $150, $200. What? I couldn't believe it. So it always tripped me out when I hear kids, bragging, or dudes, not even kids, because kids don't know, but grown people, I paid $400 for these. And I'm like, you got jerked, fam. Unless you're like my guy Sai Collection. If y'all look him up on Instagram, I think it's Saya Collection. I think it's SIA Collection, and he stitch and make his sneakers by hand, right? Designs everything. So that right there, I understand the price point. But these sneakers you getting for these big corporations, they just jerking people. So I kind of pulled back. It's like, I need to find another way. So I would call up coaches or different people who had sneaker contracts. And you're like, yo, you got size 14. Well, now it's 15. So it's like you've got an extra pair, home me a pair of sneakers, you know. I still wear my regulars. I'm a Puma guy. So most of my sneakers are Pumas. It's just I'm from that era. I'm cut from that cloth. So it's nothing for me to go online and pay $70 for a pair of Pumas. Or get them for my guys who got the sneaker contracts. But it was my coach who put me on the game to help me understand how the business of basketball worked. I remember, I think it was my junior year. Or was it I think it was my senior year. It was my senior year. We had got a contract from the University of Wake Forest to play 2 games. This was Rodney Rogers, right? Anthony Tucker was on that team. They would come up. No, we would go down to Wake Forest and play down at Wake Forest, and then they would come up to FDU and play us. It was a 2-year deal. I said, Coach, why is Wake Forest giving us $80,000? He said, Mr. Harding, sit back. Let me explain to you how the business of basketball works. Wake Forest is giving us $80,000. I think I said, if I said $8,000, I'm sorry, $80,000. He said, a portion of this goes to the school. Another portion of it pays for our travel, hotel expenses, and food for you guys. And also, you guys get pocket money out of that as well. Oh, so when we go on road trips and we getting like $300, $400 for the weekend, that's coming out of the check that the school gave us to play them. I said, Coach, I thought college sports played each other for free. He said, yes, but when a bigger school plays a smaller school, the bigger school plays the smaller schools for a win. Now that just threw me all off. I was confused. I'm thinking to myself, is my coach gambling like the money guys and my summer league coaches who I told you about early on? Is my coach asking us to throw the game? So I asked him, Coach, I said, what are you supposed to go out there and lose on purpose? He said, no. Let me explain to you. The $80,000 is for the big school to play a small school, which guarantees them a win. Because the majority of the time, when a bigger school plays a smaller school, the big school usually wins. Now, if the small school wins, the big school is upset. I'm going to say that again. If the big school loses to the smaller school, then the big school is upset. Y'all still don't feel me. That is where the word upset comes from. Do y'all understand that there are no upsets in pro sports? I'm going to say that again. There are no upsets in pro sports. Why would you say that, Pooh? Because both sides are getting paid. In college sports, when one side is doing the paying, the school that's doing the paying wants to win. So it's pay for a win or pay for play. I forgot the name of the term. Yeah, it's crazy, right? Everybody wins. But if you lose, you still lose, no matter if you're a big school or not. Somebody gonna take an L. So if y'all understanding what I'm saying, that is the definition of the word upset. It's amazing what you learn playing sports. I was totally blown away. I said, so coach, if we go down there and we kick Wake Forest's ass, they're going to be upset because they lost the game and they lost the $80,000. He said, yes, you got it. Now you understand the business of basketball. Whoa. This is crazy. He said, this is why we stay in the best hotels wherever we go. Because if your conference is a weaker conference, the bigger conference, especially if it's non-league, they're paying up in some kind of fashion. If you play Division I sports, you understand how it goes down. A lot of times, dudes who play at the big universities don't get that knowledge. And even guys who play in mid-major and lower-level Division I schools don't get that knowledge on what's really happening. Because a lot of times they're just out there playing, trying to survive, trying to secure a spot, trying to graduate. You got so many other things to think about than the business of sports. Which brings me back to why I feel that all sports are rigged. I remember watching, I think, the 2012 NBA championship. Payola. That's real, D. That's real. Facts. It goes like that. I had told her, that's real. It is. It's a form of payola. It's like a guy, you know, you go up to the radio station and you give the DJ some cash to play your record. It's like most of the stuff is a scam. Kennard Robinson, what up, my brother? Appreciate you. He knows he played at UMass. He was actually John Calipari's first recruit. Man, it- the things that I've experienced and learned throughout my years playing basketball has educated me enough about the real world. Because a lot of times when you're young, you got blinders on and you don't see the full scope of the world. You know, one of my students asked me yesterday, he said, Mr. Glenn, what are you dressing up for Halloween? I said, kid, I don't celebrate Halloween. He said, why? I said, I don't celebrate any holidays. He said, for real? I said, yes. So I'm not telling you not to celebrate the holidays, but I've passed that point when I start practicing ritual holidays because it's on our calendar and we're programmed to do so. He says, so what do you do about your kids? I said, I don't have any. But when I took care of my nieces and nephews, I didn't deprive them of enjoying their holidays because of what I felt. I thought it would have been unfair since their mother already started them on that path for me to just cut it off, especially with all the trauma and things that they were facing in their life, not having their mother there with them. So I continued the tradition. You know, I told a story last night in our company's meeting with my fellow podcasters. I said one of the most memorable times as a youngster for me was my sisters and brothers creating Christmas, the Christmas spirit for me, as I would say. It snowed on Christmas Day, so I was very excited, and I stayed up all night because I knew Santa Claus was going to come through the chimney or through our window on a fire escape and come and bring me my presents. So my brother, salute to my brother, my big brother, Aaron, he took him and my brother Rod, rest in peace, my brother Rod, and rest in peace, my sister Pat. They all got down together to make this memorable for me. My brother got the aluminum foil, the tube inside the aluminum foil, and he yelled out the window, screaming out like he was Santa Claus. And I was so excited running around the house like, he's here, he's finally here. Santa Claus has came to bring me my gifts. And I remember I got an Evil Knievel wind up motorcycle. I got the Dick Tracy walkie-talkie and the watch. And it's crazy, right? Because now we got it was actually not the walkie-talkie, it was a flip phone, and it was a watch with with the face on it, because Dick Tracy had the first Apple Watch before we had the Apple Watch. Predictive programming. But nevertheless, and I got a few other toys as well, but I remember that, and that moment right there sticks out for me because that was one of the only moments that my brothers and sisters got together to do something special for me. So salute to my peers for looking out for their little bro. But what I'm trying to say is that when you get older and your mind opens up to the world and you see the world for what it is, it's kind of hard to go forward with some of the things when you know the truth. When your eyes is open, you can't close them anymore. I'm gonna say that again. Once your eye is open, some people only think they have 2 eyes. I actually have 3. Once your eyes are open, it's hard to close them. So I told the young man, I said, even though I don't celebrate Halloween, I want you to go out and you have a good time. And he told me today that he did have fun trick or treating uh, with his family and friends, and it turned out okay. So salute to you. Killer Dogs, what up? Yeah, yeah, it was a good Christmas, man. I never forget it. I never forget it. It was, you know, one of those moments that just sticks out to me. Um, show you how powerful family can be when they come together to do something positive, right? Side note, do y'all understand the Pope wears red shoes? So does Santa Claus. And if you switch up the words in Santa Claus, you can kind of get Satan Claus. It's like a clause, right? Something you have to keep every year to keep doing over and 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 over. And even though we know it's not real, we still celebrate it. And how the tree, right? The tree, you go back into the times of Nimrod, where Nimrod used to hang heads on a tree, and we hang ornaments on a tree. This is real. Go study. I did a lot of reading in my day. So all these things are connected. Or Saturnalia. That was the original Christmas holiday in Greek and Roman days, and men used to run around with children and have all kinds of parties and drunk and sex orgies and crazy nonsense, and they kind of just like, you know, got that stuff out the way and got us focused on something that's connected to that. I'm going too deep right now. I don't want to go down the rabbit hole and have you guys and girls tripping out over here, but this is real. Let me go read some of the comments. Derek Hawkins says big schools would always give us gifts like watches, travel gear, jackets, just for participating. That's real. That's look. I had a locker room in my locker room, right? I had a locker for my clothes and I had a locker for my sneakers. My coach said I was the only player that ever did that. Really, I would wear sneakers once or twice and go get a brand new pair of sneakers. Or what most college guys do, your money running low, dudes need some sneakers, you sell the ones you have. It beats going to the bookstore and stealing books and selling them back. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Those people who went to college, you already know. Don't let me start blowing you guys up. And I don't want to blow myself up, but it beats doing that. What's good? What's good? What's good? Facts. Facts. The sleepers shall be awakened. Well, yeah, we'll definitely do that on another note. For sure. I can. Oh, yeah, I remember the LaGuardia House tournaments. Definitely. I remember the night tournaments too. You got the jackets, right? You was able to go to different neighborhoods, and those of you who couldn't go to different neighborhoods, you was barred when you got robbed or beat up or jumped. Streets is tough out here in New York. It was crazy. But I just wanted to come on and share that story with you, guys and girls. Hope you enjoyed my stories. There'll be more coming. Just prepping you guys for the documentary Basketball Heads coming soon. We're going to talk about it all. We're going to talk about it all. What should I talk about next week? I think I'll talk about the time I played football and how I got my confidence in sports. We're going to do that because right now, my football coach want to send prayers out to my coach Breeze, who coached the Renegades and Whipsticks, legendary coach Breeze, who coached the Renegades and Whipsticks during the 80s and the 90s. And he coached during the 2000s as well. He sent a lot of players to college for playing community football in the Buddy Young League. And I'm going to do that to tribute to him because he is the reason why I gained my confidence playing sports. When I was trying to hide, when I was just trying to be part of the team, he let me know that I was a leader and I needed to be up front. It's one of the reasons why I'm in front of the camera talking now, because so many years I didn't want to. And it's turned into a blessing with me stepping up to the forefront and turning my fears into bravery. Fear, force, what is it? Force, evidence appearing real, fear. False evidence appearing real. Wow. Well, I'm about to get out of here. Thanks for joining me. Appreciate everybody in the room. Paul Scurry, what's up, baby? What's going on? Salute to my guy, CK. Salute to Neil Barrow, Miss Brenda. Feature. Ayatollah Beats, my guy Omar Lee, Cal Griffin, appreciate you. I've Live, thank you. All Black, appreciate you. Always, man. Kennard Robinson, thank you. Hoop Dreams, what up, Jay? Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, I had to step up to the challenge, my dude. Thank you, thank you. Thank you for joining me. Appreciate you. Thank you for everybody for tuning in. E. Weaver, appreciate you, man. Go back and check out the live, E. Weaver, if you ain't check it out, man. It's a great story. Like I said, I'm about to get out of here. I am your host, Glenn Pooh Harding, and you've been watching Basketball Heads Live, the podcast, on a series, Storytime with Pooh, your boy. All right, y'all. As we always do around this time, say thanks to all my basketball heads, and peace.